getting back on it. This will be part 3, I think. So brackets all painted up and dry. So I'm gonna get this bolted in and get the PDM bolted in. And then I think before I really start fishing any wires, I'm gonna get that laid in there and then clean my table back off. I'm gonna mount the radio mount, and the USB port's not here yet. So then I'm really gonna just start trying to figure out my wiring, I guess. I'll start with getting the PDM wired in, and then everything else that needs to be wired in, other than the light bar. I got some tail light craziness to do with that. But everything else will basically just be connecting to that PDM. So I think what we'll start with is power to the PDM. Once we get this in, we'll do power to the PDM, and then the control panel to the PDM, and then we'll wire the individual components that are going in. I'll have to draw out what they're gonna be. Because for right now, it's only gonna be a handful of things right now. And then eventually, the fog lights that are already wired in up there, we're gonna bring into it too. And probably a couple other little things here and there. But for right now, that'll be where we're at. So let's get this bracket in and then jump over to the radios. Okay, got the radios mounted. These will be perfect. I mean, you can, oops, yeah, dropped it here. Showing you how perfect they are, and then I'm dropping it. But I mean, like when I'm riding in here, or Dan is, I mean, I'll be good because the iPad sits here, and then we'll have the other phone mount will be, probably move that a little bit. So the iPad will be here to look at. Dan will have, or whoever's driving, will have their own smaller nav screen over there. Big lead nav running here. Usually we run backup of Gaia or something as well on the other phone mount, but this will be, for texting and everything as well. And then we got both radios. So one will be to our crew, and the other one will be race comms. So we'll have both right there. I mean, it's a little tight, but it is what it is. They're all tight. I mean, like I said, ideally it would have been nice to mount them here, but that airbag goes off. It's throwing all that into your face, right? So yeah, this will work perfect. I gotta label them which one's gonna be which. So you're picking up the right one. Not talking on race comms if I'm trying to talk to our team, and not talking to our team if I'm trying to talk to the guy in front of me. So but that's what that is. Switch panels here. Gonna get that up then. So I think we're pretty much ready to start pulling wires. So I think the first thing I'm gonna start with, I got the PDM's mounted in there now. That turned out really good. So I think the first thing I want to start with on this is get my table cleaned up and then lay out our wiring for this. Lay out our wiring and figure out how we're going to do that. I mean, Dan's got a whole bunch of stuff here already tapped in, so we'll probably just tap right off of the battery, pull over, mount the circuit breaker that it comes with somewhere in here. I mean, I'll probably just zip tie it, honestly, as it is, so that way he can move it if he wants to later. Pull our battery cables over here and get this stuff hooked up. And then I think probably we'll get the strobe bar in because that's most important, and then work our way down to least important. So let's start by getting my table cleaned up, since we're sort of all done with fabbing brackets and stuff up. And then we'll get started on pulling some wire. Here's what we got. I got this mounted, started connecting all this, got the battery cables routed and the circuit breaker. Right now I am fishing the control harness for the rear light bar. I had to cut that, and I'll splice that back together. It's obviously got another connector here too. So we're getting that routed. That punches through into here. Oops. And there's the other side of that connector. Right there at the firewall, if you can see. And I'll zip tie all that harness up. I made a little switch plate here. That's going to mount just up underneath it here. That way it's hidden. Dan doesn't have to stare at it, and he'll be able to turn the power on and off from the PDM control. So that's kind of ready. I got to fish the power and ground for it yet into the PDM box. So I'll do that here in a little bit. I want to get the rest of this fishing done with what I'm working on at the moment. So basically the next thing I got to do, I fish down here into the fender well, is come right up here where this little hole shot is here in the cage. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to try to go right here if I can pull through there, and then shoot right up here on the A-pillar. So I got my little fish tape, and I'm gonna give her a go. All right, that harness is fed through and wired in, and I electrical taped it, put a whole bunch of shrink wrap and everything over it. So that part's good. I think the next thing I'm gonna do is I need to back tap a keyed fuse. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and get that portion taken care of. There's this little connector over here that comes with the kit, and this guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. Oh, why? Oh, they're different. I need a mini fuse. There's the problem. Oh yeah, we got one. We don't have a 5. Neat. Neat. Well, let's see what we got here. I mean, worst case, I guess we could just, I don't really want to give it power all the time. I think then it's going to just try to be on all the time, which, I mean, would make sense. So 5 amps though. I don't know, let's probably pull this 10. I guess let's see what's keyed here and what's not. Yeah. That might be fine. We can probably put our 10 in there. It's pretty heavy wire. So we'll check these and see what we got here and pull our circuit off of it. I think we should be all right. Find something, key on ignition, go from there. We got some of these grommets here, if you see. So I got to stuff all these in then when we're done. Basically what we'll do is just slit them and stuff them around and then RTV them so the rubber doesn't, the rubber doesn't go up in there. So yeah. They're kind of a pain to feed through right now. Yeah, if you can see. Should have made my hole, I guess, a little bit bigger, but should be all right. We'll just, like I said, cut it and get it on there. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this next. Get this in. And trying to think then, really. Probably pull our power and ground in and then hook our cables up here and see, make sure our PDM's gonna power on, I guess. Check, I want to see what happens, I guess, with it. So let me get that done and then we'll see what's going on with it. All right, we made some progress. All right, so look, I got the Switch Pros thing wired up. Oops, let me turn this off. So that shuts on and off. Well, first of all, oops, jeez. All right, so first of all, it's keyed now. Brings our power on. This right here turns on our light, all right? And then it presets your control. So as you can see, there she goes. And then the brake lights do kick up to a high. Obviously the hazard part you can turn the whole thing off. But yeah, the brake lights kick up to a high, and then you have a reverse light here in the center. Pretty neat. So I got a little bit more time here, so I'm going to work on getting this mounted up under here now. Sort of tidying up some of what I had going on here. And then, yeah. Oh, and I was using the power probe here. So reverse is white. So, oops, grab the white wire here. Okay. So if you watch there. I don't know if you can see it on the back, but it's throwing that reverse light on. Pretty bright, too. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let me shut the shop lights off here. It's daylight outside, but I mean, it's pretty cool. So, yeah. All right. Oh, and then the other nice thing is everything should power off if we just shut this off. Yep, everything shuts off, and then if we turn it back on, we have to default it on, but they kick right back on to the previous setting. So, as long as we don't bump it with our foot, which we should be all right. Like I said, I'm going to mount it up under there pretty good. We should be all right. So, I was debating about just stuffing it in here, but I was afraid something was going to bounce into it, and I don't want to get in there to ever access it. It's so freaking tight with all of this stuff here. So, I'm just going to take the screw out, mount it up underneath of there. This will reroute over there. So now, oh geez, let me shut this off so I don't kill Dan's battery. So now we have all that kind of working. The next big thing will be the front fog lights here. Get them wired in. So I'll probably kind of rough them in, and then I can neaten them up tomorrow. And then the USB, I gotta go see if that came in yet. If that came in, it'd be nice to get that in tomorrow yet too. So, but we're getting there. I got a little bit more time down here, so I think I'm gonna start screwing with these fog lights a little bit. The other thing that I need to do, and I've been putting it off, is this harness here has to get run down through here, fished through here, and then in here, and then I've got to take the reverse, turn, and brake signals and tie them all in, which it's not hateful to do. It's just a lot of damn wiring. So we'll get to that though. It's not hateful. So like I said, I think the next thing I'm going to work on is I'm going to unhook my power probe, and I'm going to screw with these pigtails on the front bumper here for these fog lights to get them tied in. There's a lot of settings with those. I'm not sure what all the wires are. I guess I should look to them and see. I'm assuming... See, Dan didn't give me a wiring diagram with these. I'm assuming there's a high and a low, would be my assumption. There's also like a amber there. So it's possible that's like a running light, which is probably this yellow. So you probably have a high and a low, and then a running light. So I guess we'll plug one of these in actually while I have the power probe plugged in and see exactly what they do. Trying to think here how I can even make that work. Probably the best thing to do at that point would be to take take another wire, I guess. I don't know, I have to figure that out. That one's a little perplexing how I want to do that. I'll have to figure that out. I might not. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I can see if I can get them working here. It'd be nice to have them. So I may honestly try to tie them into the turd signal hard. Well, I don't know. I'll figure that out. I have a power and stuff running to that bar. I have enough spots in that PDM too. I could do a high and a low in there. I don't know. Let me goof with it here and see what we got with it. Calling it quits for today. Here's where we're at though. Left turd signal. I started fishing that wire across. Got it all the way up here into the footwell of the passenger side. So basically now I'll just pass through my bulkhead connector that I put in down there. Pass through that, punch out through here, and then fish up through here and tie it in. Obviously, and then when that's all finished, we'll zip tie it. Oh, shoot. Slam that in the door. Don't want to do that. But yeah, so, I mean, it's getting there. Honestly, it's just a lot of little tedious work. The connectors for those were wrong. Dan gave me an extra set of connectors for the road shock lights, the big ones. So he's going to drop the other ones off here then. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's chugging along, but we got a party to go to, so calling it quits for now. I'll get back on it later.